Sometimes in my sleep, I am lost in the woods, and there are ribbons tied in the trees, and they're swirling all around me, but I'm grasping for nothing. The thick smell of moss reminds me of home. There are lilies in the hall, and a cat on a stove, and
Put them together. Come on, keep clapping. Keep clapping. Come on, come on, come on. On this Sunday night, the 21st annual GrassRoots Battle of the Buffalo! Our nation comes not from the might of our arms or the scale of our wealth, but from the enduring power of our ideals: democracy, liberty, opportunity, and unyielding hope.
As far as the campaign to elect Obama, we got involved in that. Awesome people, this incredible sense, this vibe was palpable that we felt that night. That is the curative element. And the vibe at GrassRoots is also the curative element. There's something going on that's like a collection. It's like the synapses between people and that really positive thing.
Thank you for having me.
That will be the kind of thing that saves the day. And it's where creativity comes from. It's where figuring things out, where really helping other people in a real way comes from. All that thing comes from that vibe.
Dice, ponga la mano en el aire donde la vea. Me han dicho que usted está traficando las ideas. ¿Quién le dio permiso para hacer esa tarea poco revolucionaria que me alborota la aldea? El único pensamiento libre aquí es el mío. Yo puedo tener de todo sin meterme en mí. Si te haces la fiera, yo te lleno de problemas. No verán la luna llena y te tranco la vida entera. Usted dice que me ha visto traficando cuando si yo me dedico a dar amor en el canto. Oficial, creo que usted me está quemando. Wake up.
Woodstock vaulted music festivals into the national consciousness, ushering in a new era of music and how it's presented. One of America's most enduring music festivals is known as the Finger Lakes GrassRoots Festival of Music and Dance. It happens in Trumansburg, New York, on the third weekend in July. For almost 30 years, this group of musicians, dreamers, outlaws, artists, music lovers, hippies, thinkers, drinkers, rednecks, new agers, and everything in between converge on these fairgrounds to celebrate. It all started with a band named Donna the Buffalo, reacting to the raging AIDS epidemic of the early 1990s.
There were a lot of people trying to do stuff, but there wasn't major attention that it needed, and it was kind of being like, you know, put off as like a gay problem or different strange ideas like that, or that it came from Haiti. It was like Haitians and gays had a disease, and it was obviously anybody that looked at what was really going on, it was obviously a very serious, dangerous disease that could easily affect everybody, really. This was in 1990 when the AIDS crisis was really kind of a new and very serious thing that the government was not paying any attention to. So we put on a benefit for this group called AIDS Work, and sold out the show with Don the Buffalo and the Horseflies and this other band called Neon Baptist. And that year we raised $10,000 for AIDS. And that was in 1990.
We were pretty much a younger band, you know, and so many of us had met each other playing old-time fiddle music and going to festivals. That's what we always did. We got to the point where we thought we could probably start our own festival. So Don and the Buffalo embarked on trying to do this 3-day festival. It rained, the weather was horrible. It was the kind of thing where
Keep talking, give us some highlights.
we didn't have all this sophisticated communication going back and forth where you could radio one stage. So we would just be like running like crazy people. We'd meet in the middle of this field and be like, were the amps brought over to that stage? And did they have backline at that stage? I mean, it was crazy. It was mayhem. It was like the most fun ever starting this festival. There were not a lot of people there, a lot of friends that came. That is how we started. And we just knew it was a cool thing. And it was in the same place, at the Trumansburg Fairgrounds. We just have continued it ever since.
The festival in July in New York, there's a lot of hot summer energy, and people are like up late, and it's real like they're getting stuff out.
Thou painted maypole, speak! How low am I? I am not yet so low, but that my nails can reach unto thine eyes.
Oh boy.
I must have died. I would go falling through the hot summer sky. I would go falling through the hot summer sky. Rivers to bows tied to my hands and my feet. Come on.
I really got involved in GrassRoots when I came to Shakori Hills the first year to help start the festival. And it all kind of happened at once. Jordan and I fell in love.
She was a super achiever in school, kind of a teacher's pet kind of person. She liked to help everybody also succeed, and that's just her personality, which is very, very admirable. However,
Doesn't serve less up.
doesn't serve. And in the end, it's not about like pleasing teacher here. We're actually, life is more about learning the lessons you need to learn before you pass on from this planet. Alyssa gets very frustrated with me because I'm like, it'll all work out. However,
It will.
I don't know if it will. I have to say that, I guess. I don't know if it actually will. I think it will. I think it feels like we're on some kind of like path or something, I don't know, that has an ultimate conclusion of success.
Take your vitamin C, that's what I said.
No. It's an interesting thing because it seems like we're only succeeding by that extremely small margin.
All right, many of you are in the area and came for the Mardi Gras.
First year of GrassRoots, February before the July, we took this spontaneous trip down to Louisiana to go to Mardi Gras, out in Cajun country, western Louisiana, not in New Orleans. We had the most fantastic time. It was life-changing. We were in Mamou, on the streets of Mamou, where you have at one end of the street, you have the Cajun Mardi Gras happening. And that very same street, Main Street, if you just walk down Main Street, block, another block, block, another block, all of a sudden, the white people start lessening, and all of a sudden, the Creole people start. And you get to the end of the block, and that's where the Creole Mardi Gras is happening. Very segregated, white, black, all in the same block, same street, same town. So we're there at the Cajun end of it, and we're just hanging out. And Anne Savoy said, "You got to go see the Frank family play." Who's the Frank family? They're this great Zydeco family, and well, where is it? It's out in the country, out in Swallow, and it's just way out in the middle of nowhere. And we found our way, like down these country roads, and there we arrived at this tiny little roadhouse. We thought, okay, this is cool, this is another adventure down here. So we got out, and we walked in, and you know, we were the only Caucasian people there, white people. It was all Creole folks, you know, and they were very welcoming and friendly. And we walked in, and there at the other end of this little room, so funky and, you know, was Preston Frank and his family band. And we were just like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing ever. This family, like, I mean, this music is great. It was just like the most amazing experience. We left there, we didn't really talk to them. We went home to New York. Now we're working on doing this festival. And Jim Miller and I were like, God, wouldn't it be really cool to get that family up here? God, would they ever travel? I mean, did they ever leave that area? Because, I mean, it was so out in the country and so, you know. And somehow we got their number, and Jim called. Said, you don't know us really, but we were the white folks in the roadhouse that you know, back at Mardi Gras that time. And he actually sort of kind of remembered us because we kind of were the only white folks in that little roadhouse. Long story short, they agreed to come up to the festival. And that was how it began. They flew up, and it was just like, wow. You know, it was this amazing cultural exchange. Just learning scrubboard at the time, and they came up to surprise me with the scrubboard. At that time, we still, every year, went down to Mardi Gras in February. So every February, we'd go down and hang out with the Frank family. And every July, they'd come up and play the GrassRoots Festival. So it was this twice a year, like, getting together, bonding thing. A lot of traditional music comes from hands in the dirt, working hard, and then the time off you get to play some music, and you express who you are and how you live and what you live comes through the music you play, and so that I think it translates. It's handed down, and it's just sort of the magic of it all, where power and meaning and emotion come through, and it's not about complexity. I learned to play accordion from listening to Preston and Keith play and listening to their recordings and trying to emulate Preston's style of the Zydeco music on the one-row button accordion. It has a more rural kind of affectation or sound. I just fell in love. It just hit me, their sound.
Preston is of a certain generation. That music really speaks. There's some element like the older country music, and that there's got an element of there's a joyous element, of course, but there's also this undercurrent of melancholy, or I don't know whether it was born of like farming or knowledge of the Depression, or just sort of a more maturity or a certain imprint of a time. There's a certain kind of depth, and it kind of goes through the Cajun music and the Zydeco. It's just got this kind of whatever that kind of sweet melancholy on top of this like thumping thing that's always energetic and going. Like it's not like we're gonna stop and be melancholic at all, not for a second, and probably no one's really gonna be very concerned if you're sad about anything. And it's similar with the old time music. It's got this kind of this knowledge of life, but it's a real going forward with it.
Melodies are very infectious, and the rhythm is to die for.
Part of the grander experiment of all this stuff, which even goes back to the hippie days in my view, even though I was born in '66, so I was pretty cognizant fairly young, and I witnessed a lot of stuff. It seems like there's this very broad dissatisfaction with the level of culture and connectivity that people enjoyed as a society. So then I started developing the thing where I threw the onion, the celery, everything in there without the meat.
Yeah.
And then you could taste it, and you get the salt right, and then the salt gets inside the food like you like. GrassRoots, I feel like, is a continuation of finding culture that we can be happy with. And it's a creative process. guys like Preston Frank, was when he opens his mouth and speaks, sings, plays the accordion, you can feel that culture.
That's too big. It's got to be real small like this.
They got a little smaller.
The way you eat.
Typically, you just.
But that's not a sprinkle, that's a dip.
No, that's sprinkles.
No.
That's how I learned how to do sprinkles at Friendly's.
Sprinkling is when you sprinkle something over something.
See, but here's what we're talking about.
You're dipping it in.
But that's because we're feeling wild. We're dipping in the sprinkle product, right? I mean, how crazy is that? It's both things simultaneously.
I think it needs to be sprinkled over the thing.
You can do it that way also, but either way, you have a small bin with the sprinkles in it and the spoon. The professionals go, broop, and you have to make that sound when you do it. You go, broop.
It's not me and you scooping ice cream, though.
I scooped ice cream for years when I was a kid. That's what I did.
Go ahead. See that
Having all these cultures come and displaying their sense of life. Being able to instantly through music and their sense of enjoyment and spark, totally deliver this incredible gift of culture.
Good enough, good enough. All right, next. Check, 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 check.
Jordan always had his mind set on having the festival travel. This grassroots, energy and spread it, over the land.
The idea was to do four seasons of GrassRoots.
Jordan went down to North Carolina and kind of found that spot there, Shakori Hills.
Had the idea of doing spring and fall there since we had the property.
When I first got involved, Shakori Hills was just a place to hold the festival twice a year. During the summer, the grass would be up to your knees, and then slowly this group of people down here kind of came together with the intention of purchasing the land. That was the idea even 10 years ago, was to do that. And we started having other events, some summer concerts, and have seen it go from just this wild piece of property, you know, with a festival that was a lot of fun, but had a total skeleton crew. To grow into this, I don't know, this is what it is now.
Jordan would be down in North Carolina, and me and my mom would be in the office up in New York, and you know, he'd constantly be sending money down there. It was like, Rommel needs more fuel, you know. He can't take North Africa without more fuel. And then it was sort of like, you know, Castro sends Che Guevara out to some other country to try to get this thing to take place, you know. It's like, I don't know, it's very touch and go.
Nothing seems to last anyway. That's okay,
It's a weather-dependent event, so it's not like it's, you know, in the bag, like, oh, now we're year 5, we're making money, things are good to go. It's like, that's not how it works.
What's happening with the monitors right now? They're wet and they're pulled. They're wet, they're pulled, and they're not going to dry out for the rest of the night, probably. So basically,
They might, but I doubt it.
Fall is like kind of more cozy and it gets dark earlier.
I'm gonna throw it down and steal and go home. Well, you know,
by design, Grassroots is intended not to make money. I mean, it's ideal. First of all, it's a not-for-profit. The next is when it makes money, it gives it away to other not-for-profits. So it's very intentional to be an organization that does not have somebody with a hat catching all the coin. And that is part of its, that's part of its good mojo.
we're gonna have such a big parade.
But it's not a business plan. Like you can't talk about that to a business person and have them understand what it is. I was riding in the car with this guy that was sort of a business guy, and he was running it down like our business, you know, and like what bad business people we were. You know, I'm kind of competitive, you know, and so and actually we do a lot of things really well. And I said, well, you can't just count Grassroots currency as cash. Because Grassroots has two currencies, and one is this palpable feeling that it generates, and the other is cash. And of course, you have to have money for an organization to survive. You know, it has to pay its bills and be able to do what it needs to do. Anyway, yeah, I was defending our business practices with the two currencies. You got to take into account the other currency because a lot gets spent on that.
What? There's going to be a banjo player before me, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Musical.
You're going to be preceded.
I will be preceded. Excellent. Now I'm going to drop in the amount of BBs that represents how much money 90% of the American people contribute to politicians. Well, that was nothing. And now what I'm going to demonstrate is the average contribution of the top 100 corporations in the country.
It's a beauty. I've seen in my dreams. It's just out of sight. Yes, it's just out of reach.
When you start making decisions based on having a lot of money, I think that you make some funny decisions sometimes that don't necessarily create the kind of like vibe and spirit that we try to foster. It also makes for some frustrating challenges, leaky tents, and all kinds of things that are really frustrating.
Grassroots is like a mini Super Bowl for a lot of bands. And so if you're in the midst of your mini Super Bowl and the sound system is breaking, it could be a fairly traumatic experience.
More blown speakers?
And one more blown amp.
We've blown up 2 amps and simultaneously blown up sets of speakers.
We can't really afford to lose, to do it again. If we lose, well, we can do it one more time.
They're at the gate checking wristband. We don't
know, but
have
they can-
not here.
we can
We've
move
never
from here.
had enough. We can't. We really can't. We have
Well, this
had
is- but the
security
thing-
issues every year.
The drive that is needed to like get a festival off the ground and to keep it off the ground is immense.
Well, I got 3 hours of sleep last night, an hour and a half the night before, and everything's going well.
We had the two 15-inch coax monitors go out. It's a little tense there for a few seconds.
Put that in, it turns into both amps.
But it doesn't bridge it, because bridge it fucks it up. Yeah, 12. Do it. No, do it on 10 because there's that EQ there. C get moved to 34. Fortunately, our crack team got right on it and chopped the cables off to stop the burning. That's a real encore. That's a fucking encore. fortunately killed it. We got it over with. We had a crack team swapping out the amps that were starting on fire. And so we have fewer burning amps than we did before, although we just burnt one. All right, let's go get one more amp. Instead of exploding or fires or pestilence, we're down to having no diesel fuel in the generator.
How long is your hose?
But there's no electricity, so we're going to be missing out on the whole Sim Redmond experience.
That'll be enough. We'll deal. It's out of fuel, and it restarted again. Wrench. 10 millimeter, I meant. You want me to crank it?
Okay, they're gonna try. Richie's gonna try to squeak another one out of us. I see it happening.
So, are we gonna be stern?
I almost have to be because we got the set up behind me. They're right behind me.
One of your guys came and took my input list.
Oh, I'll get it right now. You need it right back. I need the input list back now. They drew on it.
I see that.
Does that make sense to you?
I don't know what any of this says.
It's not just like a pop culture event where, you know, you hired a bunch of famous people and you set up stage and like thousands of people came. It has its own character, and it actually, as the name suggests, grows in the actual community, and people in the community grow with it and start putting it on.
It's just a sense of community that I haven't found anywhere else. It just drew me to stay here and to just be part of it. I haven't found it anywhere else. You're friends with the sound guy and you're friends with staff and the ladies who take care of the money and the ticket booth, and I've done everything from pound rebar into the ground to promotional work for them, and it just gives me an opportunity to expand my ideas and my talents and find new talents. And that's just beautiful. I haven't found that anywhere else.
Take these last 5 that we have right in our hands, and then we'll start coming in from the backside. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Go, go, go.
People just volunteer, they give their time. Like the shower house that was built, nobody got paid to do that. This group of people who had carpentry experience came together, and then there's a person that has plumbing experience, and he comes and he plumbs it. And even when we were doing had to put in this $25,000 septic tank. Okay, well, it's got to be engineered. Well, there's an engineer that loves the festival, and she says, I'll give you my work and do all this work for tickets for a couple of years. I know. It's very affirming. several thousand people in one place that are having a good time, and they're happy to be there, and they're away from all this stress. I think it just keeps elevating and elevating everyone's mood. I think it's the combination of the music that opens up your heart. It's that everywhere you look, everyone around you is feeling good and celebrating, and everyone's in touch with whatever you believe in, you know, whatever energy it is that made everything here happen, like life. I don't know why that is, or I don't know what causes it, but I think it's a connection to life force, to love.
You're in the soup with everyone, and this beautiful feeling, and you can look at somebody you've never met, and you can exchange this warmth and connectivity, because you are connected, because you wouldn't be at GrassRoots unless you were connected. You just are, you know. And then the funny thing is that sometimes, like when the festival's over, you walk into the grocery store or whatever, and you're out in public, and you run across someone, and you feel like that you don't know, but you feel like yourself opening up and like saying hey to someone like you would at the festival. Of course, they're just going about their lives and they don't know who you are. They probably think you're a fucking on-truck.
Whatever obstacle is placed in, so far, whatever obstacle is placed in front of us, we just manage to make it happen.
You can do things the way that is meant to be. Oh, where's Shorty?
It's life, and it's a life that we actually want to live. creativity and feeling like you're doing something important and being a part of something that's bigger than yourself, that's not full of shit, that actually gets things going. And there's that vibe. People that put on music festivals they're basically just, if you kind of squint, they're really just providing a service. They're taking all these logistical obstacles out of the way so somebody can just, hopefully, seamlessly fall into the festival for whatever, $100 or whatever, but it needs to be paid for. It's such a service. You got a place to meet. All these amazing things take place. There's interactions between human beings, seamless, like no fences, no weirdness. And that's the service that people that put on a music festival actually provide people. And that's the nuts and bolts of it.
What you got with your ways of loveliness, I would be.
We get a pickup for equipment, please. Can you make sure that blue car is moved because it was right in the loading area for the equipment shuttle? Yeah, I have no idea whose car this is. I wasn't here when this happened. Do you know? Because one of the guys is on stage. So just when I finish their set, if you could let them know, just to maybe park a little bit differently somewhere else. I'll do that. Yeah, I didn't know that was happening. So yeah, okay.
Part of what we do is we create a celebration. Cultures have celebrations, and it's something that humans need to do. We need to celebrate, we need to express ourselves.
Then join our leaving lines. Let's scumfish through the pines and rocket to where high and light the grapevine swings. And by the rubbish in our wake and the noble noise we make, be sure, we're going to do splendid things.
And that's Rudyard Kipling's Roadside Band Dialogue.
Inspiration is sort of like there's a mysterious component to it. You know what I mean?
You were inspired last night when we played.
Last night I was inspired.
That's what I'm saying.
And you know what inspired me?
Alcohol.
The drink I drank.
Inspired me.
So, yeah, my inspiration.
Your attitude inspired me.
My attitude inspired you?
Your drunkenness inspired me.
Right, my attitude. My attitude, which was born of alcohol.
Yes, it was very
created
inspiring.
inspiration.
I don't know, the spring has this like everything's coming alive feeling.
This is perfect weather for dancing.
trying to really be sustainable and try to teach people about sustainability while at the same time, even just doing anything involves, you know, you can't be, it's like you can't be 100% green and still make anything happen.
Separating a large mound of trash by hand is quite the effort. I think as an art project, it's amazing. Because, like, it's very remarkable. It's like a testimony of how much people believe that life needs to and can get better.
You get to see behind the scenes what really happens at Shakori. It's a lot of trash, a lot of recycling, and a little bit of dry heaving, and it's a lot of fun. It's good old-fashioned conversation to get you through the day. Next thing you know, the whole thing is done. You just talk, you laugh, you vomit, you laugh and you sort, and you actually can get into the recycling bin. So it's like a baptism.
Psychotic interlude. He don't mean to be rude, but Public Eddie is one angry white dude. One angry white dude. One gun, 2 knives, protecting other lives of his 3 former wives. He's a member of the tribe that was chosen, but his assets and emotions have been frozen.
We were just starting to be like, okay, we're breaking even, we're doing okay, we're moving towards buying the property. And right before we got to that place of financial comfort, the Miami Festival started.
When the decision to start another 4th festival came up, you know, I was like, I can't start another festival. Like, I just did that at Shakori Hills, and it was amazing, and I love it, it's beautiful, but
it requires so much passion that, you know, just to get something started just takes so much. Well, if you don't have money, it certainly takes passion, you know, because otherwise nothing happens.
What Miami offers is an opportunity to be in a warm place with your friends in the wintertime.
We went to look at the place.
Alan was peeling an orange, standing there talking, you know, and they were just moving very slowly in the parking lot.
And Alan Vogel fell out of the bus and split his head open.
That was a tricky thing because it was either completely going to be a disaster and it was absolutely the wrong place, or maybe it was the right place.
And I guess we took that as a good sign.
I think he probably, his heart must have stopped. I mean, he said, you know, he was talking to Alan, the next thing you know, Alan's laying on the ground and this pool of blood's like spilling out.
He lived, but
it's an incredible place.
You know, that's when they kind of met Guy. Guy came out.
To a new visitor that comes out and has never been to the park before, I think the number one thing to make sure that they understand is just what a sacred place it was, what a getaway that it was for the black community in South Florida. It was the only beach location that African Americans and people of color could go to. And so it really was an escape. And it's interesting because it's kind of that today.
Ponga la mano en el aire donde la vea. Me han dicho que usted está traficando las ideas. ¿Quién le dio permiso para hacer esa tarea poco revolucionaria que me alborota la aldea? El único pensamiento libre aquí es el mío. Yo puedo tener de todo sin meterme en mí. Si te haces la fiera, yo te lleno de problemas. No verán la luna llena y te tranco la vida entera. Usted dice que me ha visto traficando cuando si yo me dedico a dar amor en el canto. Oficial, creo que usted me está quemando. Wake up y vuelva a la escuela para no meterme en problemas. Wake up y una autoridad me frena.
We ran into folks from the GrassRoots Festival. They talked about what they do up in Trumansburg, New York, and how they had branched out into Shakori Hills, North Carolina, and they said, this could be our winter home, and you know, nothing like January, February in Miami for the winter. We loved it. It was real interesting, diverse music, world music, all types of things, and very much what we're about. So we thought, oh, let's do it.
And so it seemed like it just stretched everything so thin.
So we go down there in the first year, we lose big, you know, and it rains like hell, and it's cold.
One of our coldest Februaries in probably a decade. It rained, it was freezing, and it really hurt them in terms of the attendance to this brand new event.
The weather was so bad, it was hard to tell whether any of the, you know, you make plans, you book certain bands, you get this and you get that together. The weather was so bad, it was impossible to figure out whether it was working at all.
Now there's a bit of a vibe in New York of, you know, oh, you're making all these changes to the festival here so that you can support the festival in Florida, and we have to pay, you know, we have to pay for that.
We're taking money from here and spending it in other places, and people are not happy about that because it's a drain on this festival here.
I was like, you know, you folks who helped start the New York Festival, and it's like, you should be proud that some of the money profits from this festival has gone to help start Shakori Hills and then now helping start Virginia Key. You should be really proud of that, because to see it replicated and to see it impact the community here in North Carolina in the way that it has, and then it's like, you should be proud and you should come down there and check it out and exchange with these people and share your stories. And so I had this idea that we should start like a pen pal system of like the Miami GrassRootsers, like pen get mapped up with somebody in New York or whatever.
We are very capable people that can basically, I think, sustain and do most anything that we want to do. And so I don't think that it's going to hurt the festival in any significant way, you know, if we end up losing an extra $100,000 here and $100,000 there. I do think, though, that it does create stress for the organization.
What are we going to offer them? Their own music? We're going to bring them French music and they're going to learn to waltz? Like, they wear push-up, you go to the stores and it's like, you look at the window displays and you want to beat off. It's like crazy. You know, that's the way I see it. And it's like, have you ever been to a Miami Heat game?
No.
It's like all the extras from a Madonna video. Everybody, it's like unbelievable.
I think there was a sort of a feeling of this kind of runaway train feeling, which made everybody nervous. Because a runaway train is nerve-wracking thing. If we can't even rally our own people into really being enthusiastic about this thing, then there's might be a bad sign. Now, that given on the other hand, year 3, year 4 of a lot of these other ones were just nail-biting, miserable experiences.
So, Jordan.
Yes.
They need.
How many shitters?
They need me.
What do they need?
Hold on, I'm pulling up the email. Okay, they say the stage plan shows the stage plans to show 8 Anchorage. Need manufacturer's design for stage, product approval for stage.
They're not getting that.
I know time is of the essence. Please have these documents so the plans can be approved.
Well, we're not going to give them that, so. We finally hit a point where we're not going to give them anything. We're not going to be able to give them those, so. There is no such thing
Well,
as a
you
product
manufactured
approval.
it, so you can actually.
There's no product approval for temporary stages in Florida. But, or is it just the Anchorage they want? Product?
The stage plans to show 8 Anchorage.
8 anchors?
We only have 4.
Well, we can add 4 if they really wanted to, I guess. You know?
How do you want to add 4? It's built for 4.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
There's no
That's
hurricane in the
pretty interesting.
forecast.
Wow. Yeah, there's no hurricanes. It's not hurricane season. I don't know what they're trying to.
They're just trying to cover their ass because of all the
Hey,
stage
Michelle.
collapses of the douchebag aluminum stages that they built
I'm
everywhere.
losing the bet. Yeah.
That's what they're trying to do.
Another email about
Just motherfuckers.
You see a very shiny metropolitan city that is embracing the shininess. Like the shinier the better. And what we do is not very shiny. If it goes good there, it'll be the most interesting thing. Be sort of like a bohemian beach party. It's way different. Like when I drive around Miami, I don't see hippies looking to replace a culture.
GrassRoots, how you feeling? Don't ever
You know, I forget what rapper brought it up, but there's a rap term, and the rapper may have gotten it from who knows who, but it just goes, you know, I can't stop because I won't stop. And I won't stop because I can't stop. Now that's very simplistic, but when you really think about it, when you put it to the sense of people who have sort of reached their pure form, you are what you are.
Baron Evers on the scrub board right now. Come on here.
You can't stop what you're doing because it's you, and you won't stop what you're doing because it's you.
Back to the basics, my mind is chasing, time is racing, looking for the kind of place that's full of serenity, where I come forth with energy, a force that'll leave you lost in memory. The elders tell you that life gets trifling, pain's the only way that you might get sharp and tight, just like a playboy's haircut. You wanna change your ways, you better stand up, man up, and land rough when you try to rise, and look into the kind of eyes that's kind of wise, and realize that you're here for a reason. You wanna wait for the change in the season, stand up and land rough when you try to rise, and look into the kind of eyes that's kind of wise, and realize that you're here for a reason. You wanna wait for the change in the season.
It out. They said, we love it, we're going to build this thing up, and we love what they were about, this community building concept. So by year 2 and 3, we really became partners with them. We're hoping to see it really kind of, you know, hit that tipping point. The future of this will be something that will make South Florida unique. It's a different experience than I'll say our more glamorous and flashy South Floridians are used to. We've introduced the culture camp this year.
My scrubboard workshop at the first culture camp, I had like six people in my class. I just broke it down and taught some simple rhythms. There's a triplet involved with, and that sounds like, and what that is, you want to be in the workshop?
Oh, that's what it is?
Yeah, what else would it be? We're a new band, a new cycle band. All females are scrubboard band.
also remember that dreams do come true at the Grassroots Culture Camp. And no, they come alive. They come alive.
I can envision it succeeding. It's already very interesting. The lack of success removes the little bit of interesting out of it.
To move around the country sharing music, love parades, you know, parties, I mean, you know, education, sustainability, you know, it's just like a moving family, and that it's spreading. I think that's neat, and that it's in Miami. We're an interesting hub. Things that are here do go worldwide, because so many people here are internationally connected.
It's really hard at this moment we're at right now to not want to just give up on Virginia Key. It's so perfect, really, for Grassroots. Miami is just like the melting pot of our country.
We want to see the next card, and we want to work on it. And we want it to have that chance to succeed.
Porque yo no sé cuáles serán mis circunstancias. La elegancia solo es cosa de ego. La ropa con la que mejor me veo es la del alma. Yo aprendí que la calma es buena consejera a la hora de tomar decisiones certeras. Yo no soy la más lista, pero con el oportunista debo ser una fiera. Yo sé que uno se puede equivocar como un ser humano normal, que tiene mucho valor que te perdonen, pero más perdonar, que no se puede pisotear la palabra, pisotear la moral, que el amor no basta cuando el respeto no alcanza, es como arar en el mar. No soy mejor que nadie, nadie es mejor que yo. Yo no entiendo cómo todos quieren parecerse, como la gente se clona a ver de su propia voz. No saben hacia dónde caminar al levantarse. Yo aprendí que quieren saber todo lo que piensan referente a mí. Es serme amenaza, es abrirle la puerta a la envidia, decirle cómo está señora, entre, está en su casa.
Something happens that this whole house of cards comes tumbling down. Then someone somewhere it's going to keep popping up. Like you can't choke out, love.
I am with you always, though you cannot see. I hold your hand from the other side, the circle is complete. You will go where I've gone and I'll wait patiently. And I am with you always, we will always be. The sun and the rain and the winds will always be the same. The way that I feel all about you will never change.